Hey, what's up guys? Nick Quintero here, and today I'm going to show you how to make more realistic shadows in Photoshop. Alright, let's go. So I actually used to do this by copying my layers a bunch of times and blurring them and stuff myself, but Photoshop recently added options to their drop shadow menu that are going to help us out tremendously. In your layer styles menu here with your drop shadow, this is where you would make like a traditional, like basic Photoshop drop shadow where you can control the angle and the size and the distance and all that stuff or whatever. But the problem is these don't look really great. And so you really have to look at how natural shadows are created and understand exactly what's happening when you see a shadow. If you're indoors, you probably have a light above you, maybe a lamp from another room, and a window providing some more light. Each one of those light sources is creating a different shadow. Now you can press this little plus button here and it'll actually add multiple shadows. And if you select them, you can delete them as well. So I'm going to start with this basic shadow, and I'm going to think about the shadow that is directly, like it's the closest shadow from your object onto the surface. And that one is actually a really low distance and a really low size. So something a little bit more dense is going to be the first shadow that we see here. I'm going to take this distance down super low, and I'm going to make sure that it's not as blurred out as the rest of them. So I'm going to go ahead and click this plus button to add my second shadow, make sure I'm on that second shadow layer, and I'm going to move the distance away just a little bit. But this one is going to come way down in opacity, and the blur is going to go way up because now you're getting it dispersed a lot more across the surface. I'm going to add another shadow here, and I'm going to move it even more. I'm going to turn the opacity down even more, and I'm going to blow that size up just like that. Now you can't really change the angle of one shadow without affecting them all, which kind of takes away from some of that realism, because when you're inside and you're getting these multiple light sources, they're all coming from different directions. Now, once you've got your three shadows, or you can even add more if you want, just remember where your light sources are coming from. So you can see that on my 3D image here, there's a big light glare on this side. So that means the light is actually hitting from that side. So that means realistically, my shadow would actually be on the other side of my object. So now I've got light hitting my object from this side, which you can see on these glares here. So now my shadow should be going the other way, and that helps make it more realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my first one, and I'm going to lower the opacity just a little bit because it is kind of just coming across as black, but I really think that that helps the illusion here. And you can basically go through each one of these layers that you made and create some adjustments until it looks even more realistic. I like to think of it as my first layer is going to be my closest one, so it's going to be darker and shallower, and my last layer is going to be the furthest away so that it's going to kind of disperse it a little bit more across the surface. Now you can already see that this is so much better than just using one shadow with the default settings from Photoshop, and it's going to help you create a way more photorealistic look. It's a really simple trick, but I think it'll help elevate your shadows well beyond what they used to be with the default settings. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Super short and sweet. Thank you so much for checking out my video. If this is your first time seeing my videos, I do a lot of graphic design tutorials for Photoshop and Illustrator. If that's the kind of content you guys want to see, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can also hit that like button down there, and it helps me out tremendously because it tells YouTube this is a good quality video and that it should show it to more people. Don't forget to hit that little bell icon down there so you can be notified every time I release a new video. If you want to see more of my day-to-day stuff, you can follow me on Instagram at NickQ or on TikTok at NickQ83. Alright guys, that's it for this one, and like always, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.